Good evening. How are you guys doing? I'm doing well. Happy Halloween. State the obvious, I got a screwdriver in my head. It's my makeshift outfit. Mr. Screwdriver Head. That's who I am. Anyways, let's get down to business here. I got a presentation for you. So, let's get rolling, okay? All right. Today we're going to talk about likability. Likeability. What is likability? Do you have lots of friends? Do you have many? What kind of friends? Do you have quality friends? Or do you have friends that are just there, that don't mean much? You have a bunch of friends? You have a lot of Facebook likes? That's the real question. Is your likability based on status, or is it based on the genuine qualities of likability? Let's get going. What kind of persons are liked is the real question. God damn, this hurts. Loosen this screwdriver from my head, because I'm screwdriver head. Anyways, so friendliness. They're freaking friendly. Look at the most friendly people out there. Look at Tom Cruise. He's kind of friendly, but compare him to Will Smith. And look at them both. They both do Scientology. Again, Tom Cruise is known as a cuckoo head. He's known as a nutball. And Will Smith he's experimenting with religion. People give him a pass because he's really friendly. He's outgoing. Will Smith is just always smiling every time you see him. He's always enjoying life. And when you're likable, people, they connect with other people. They give a crap what other people do. Okay? Like my buddy Jerkstore. He has all these great qualities. He's cool, he's funny, but he's like autistic when it comes to other people. That's why his likability factor is very low. You gotta have empathy. You gotta be able to relate and see other people's feelings. You gotta be real. You gotta be authentic. Those are some main qualities of likability. Okay? I mean, ever since we're children, it's been established, our likability. Since grade school, there was like a hierarchy of it. There's a hierarchy of it, no doubt about it. And as you grow up, you just fit right in. If you're popular, you're popular. No matter the setting, even if you move across the country, you go in another setting, you're going to exhibit the same traits that made you at your level of likability. You're going to fall back. You're going to be rejected, or you're going to be liked. Take a look at this chick. the Britter critter. Yeah, she looks like a fucking critter. Ugh. Look, that's not good for your likability. Criticizing, it's not a good quality. But I'm not trying to be likable. I'm just explaining likability, motherfuckers. Anyways, look at this broad. Fucking, it's not, poke at the obvious. Fat! Fucking huge. Nothing wrong with that size. I mean, it's America for you. She's representative of the American female. Young, under 25. And that much weight on her. Like I said, what happens when these girls under 25, their metabolism slows down in 5-10 years? They're going to look fucking ridiculous. Their diets are shit. But there's no likability factor here. Look at this. Just look at the pictures. You can tell a lot about a person by looking at them at their Facebook, at their social media, about the way they present themselves. You can learn a lot about a person. And what do you see here? You see a lot of selfies. You see a lot of selfies. She's not okay with herself. She needs a lot of validation. Her likability factor is not much. And if you know her in real life, she's pretty annoying. Just pretty annoying. But like I say, you can judge a person by how their reactions are immediately. What do you think? In real life, she's annoying. She's not forthcoming. She's not nice. There's no likability there. There's no popularity. There's no status. She works at the deli at Publix. So, but that's not what likability is about. It's just a piece of of what makes somebody likable. There's no likability here. It's not looks wise. She's tried so hard. You see, it conveys how hard she's trying, and it's miserable. Maybe there's a little likability on how miserable she is, if that's your thing. But it's just one-dimensional, sad, and just miserable, and just empty. Tries to be cool, and just one-dimensional and curt. Always talking down on people, even her peers. Just not flexible and not friendly and forthcoming and outgoing. Doesn't look to cooperate with anyone. Her likability factor is pretty bad. I give it a 2 out of 10. I don't know how you judge a number on it, but let's just say she's a 2 out of 10. Her friend here, you can tell, and she's more nice in person. Yeah, they're both fucking magnets to each other, so they're going to be similar, but she's probably like a 3 or 4 likability wise. She's more understanding, her friend, less attitude, just better framework, especially socially, to begin with. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like dogging anyone. I mean, if likability ain't what you're aiming for, then it's okay. I mean, the person that just makes it about themselves doesn't get nowhere with other people. They're not as likable as anyone else. You look at the most likable person. Look at Steph Curry on the Warriors. Dude throws his mouthpiece. Usually that's like a couple game suspension. He never got a suspension because he's the puppy dog of the NBA. Everyone likes him. He's presentable. And he's just like the face of the NBA. Everyone likes him. And people go lighter on him. Just like somebody gets sentenced for similar crimes, you look all over. The sentencing is less harsh on people that seem likable, that seem like they're nicer and more of a quality person. Likable people, attractive people even, get special treatment in society. And that's the fact of the matter. And that's the difference between people. Popularity. Going back to the high school days. I don't care what you say. We still live it, even beyond high school. It's just translating, and it's manifesting itself in a different form. And that's the mission. And that's the problem. That's one quality somebody like a jerk store's missing. Somebody that's self-centered but has status, that has popularity, and they're miserable. That's what they're missing. Because they fail to recognize the core of someone else. It's only about them. You got to appreciate who other people are. You got to take the time. And this is how you make it in the world. This is how you become successful if that's your thing. You gotta have not a certificate, not from school. That's all fine and dandy. But there's gotta be some credibility to it. Just like and they work both ways. But a lot of people with high status, they don't have that much power. If they're not likable, their ideas and what they have to offer doesn't get put into action as much as someone that's likable with status, with the credibility. It all starts in the brain. Right here, the ventral striatum. It's like the desire, the status hub in our brains. It's the reward center. Like during puberty, our pubertal hormones, they surge and they stimulate neurons to grow additional receptors in the brain. And those receptors are the dopamine receptors. The dopamine and the oxytocin receptors, which are responsible. They're responsible for bonding. And the dopamine is those feel-good hormones. And that's all in the brain. And that happens right here, in the ventral striatum. And it creates those additional receptors for dopamine and oxytocin. And you just get that, you get the stronger urge, the stronger urge to garner, to obtain those social rewards. Like every time you get those feelings you get when you get feedback, positive feedback, you get the good feedback, like you're doing great, you know? And every time you feel like your status has been elevated, you get a bunch of Facebook likes, bunch of likes on Instagram, you see a notification for a whole sleuth of followers on freaking Twitter. And you just get that rush. And you feel noticed. Those feelings of feeling approved, of feeling admired, feeling powerful, feeling special even, come from the ventral striatum, sends it off to the ventral pallidum. These neuro outputs go there from the ventral striatum to the ventral pallidum. And they translate, like all the likes you get, into a motivation to act, to get more of that, to get more of what you want. That's why people, you get addicted to validation, to likes, to admiration. And you get that urge to act. This is why this day and age, we've been conditioned. We're pretty much all day long, we're habitually oriented towards status all day long. We're like scanning for ways to increase our status. Do you ever watch that show Black Mirror, where everyone's has a sidebar on their rating per day? Everything you do, every transaction with somebody, your rating goes up or it goes down. Kind of like Uber. You give them a rating and their rating goes up or go down per transaction, per ride. And when we interact, that's what kind of happens in our brains these days. This generation has been developed in the brain, especially with the receptors. This generation, I don't know the science behind it, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot more receptors tied to that, tied to validation, tied to the reward system. We come to the point where we can't lose the status, otherwise we'll crumble. People don't want to lose status or have people dislike them. It's just the reality. I mean, look at the statistics. People think that a good life, back in 1975, 38% concluded that a good life equaled a lot of money. In 1996, about 20 years later, freaking doubled almost of what the definition of a good life meant it's tying it to status. not likability. What I'm talking about right now is status and popularity. But when, like, say you meet someone for the first time, they're gonna they're gonna reveal what kind of person they are immediately. They're gonna put their best foot forward, as always. As it says here, they're gonna put their best foot forward for the first 6 to 8 weeks as you meet someone, especially in the dating scene. But they reveal who they are, the way they treat others, the bartenders, if you go out with them, strangers, that's how they're going to fucking treat you in about 2 months. So you need to pay attention to you. So you got to pay attention to the little cues. And it's the type of people are people like my man right here, Manny Pacquiao. Look at that face. How can you not like the guy? He's just pleasing to be around. Pleasing to be around. People like him, Michael Jordan. These are celebrities, for instance. But the most likable people, if you look in life, yeah, there's some resentment towards them because they have things easier. Those are the type of people you say, oh, they got it easy. Everything's given to them. Everyone's so nice to them. But that reflects the transactions they have every day. People are nice to them, and it works in their favor, and it pretty much becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They did a study where people acted more friendly. They wore some kind of outrageous t-shirt, I don't know, some kind of pink t-shirt on campus, students, and they just noticed over a course of a couple months that the more attention, the more they talked to people, the more they interacted, it even uplifted the depressed people that were chronically depressed. People like Harry Potter, never in his life did acting, and he was just immediately picked at casting. Like he was the guy. These are just some of the guys out there, some of the people out there that just have that likability factor. And you just know it, you know? They're in a good mood, they're uplifting, they hold conversations, they pay attention, they bring you up, they're creative. You know, they don't interrupt, it's not all about them. You know, it's people that you're familiar with. Also, you're similar to, that you share general interest, that shows a general interest in you. That's why you can make more friends, being more interested in them than looking for friends. Just being a friend. You'll make more friends that way. That's the Dale Carnegie saying that's famously been quoted. People that aren't likable, like I said, Kanye West, the guy's a loudmouth. No one likes him. Okay, select few like him. But just showing the gravity of the situation, likable people, like celebrities, they have influence. A lot of them, even that aren't so likable. But you look at Jenna McCarthy with her whole, she spoke up about the vaccines, and then immediately following her speaking up about vaccines, huge decline in parents that vaccinated their children. And then she was on boards, medical boards, discussing vaccines and the conspiracy towards it. Just because of her popularity, but she also has some likability. Okay, and look at Hillary. People say she's competent, she has experience, but she's not likable. This is why Obama beat her out in the primaries. This is why in this last election she lost. This is why Trump, they were Trump and Obama and Romney, they were all like head to head. In the previous election, 2008, Romney and Obama, they were head to head in the competency, popularity level. But the likability factor, it's like 3 times as much for Obama than Trump. This is why he won that year. Fucking smart, handsome, fucking motherfucking stud, son. Look at this guy here. All right? Look at him. You can judge. But you can tell he's a little arrogant. You can tell he's an asshole and he's mean. But you could also tell this guy, like at the surface, with new people. And you can tell he's friendly and people like him, but as you get to know the guy, you can tell. I mean, I'm sure if you go to a restaurant with the guy, he's very kind to strangers and whatnot. But this guy's, you can tell he's a mean guy. There's not much likability in him. He's very abrasive. He's very judgmental. You know, he like makes videos judging people. That's the type of the guy that is. So he doesn't have as much likability as there should be. It depends on him if he wants to work on that. It doesn't matter to a guy like that, because they don't want that shit. But likability wise, it's a big benefit to be likable in the world. Let's check out my buddy Otis B1, and he goes on under the pseudonym Jacob Jones because he doesn't want his real life intersecting with the internet, because it's such a risky environment. People could use what's on the internet and get him. That's what he considers. So he's very cautious. Here's this Jacob Jones guy. And the guy's likability. He has a lot of likability. He gets along with people. Yeah, like if you get to know him deep down, especially like if you're his girlfriend, his girlfriends don't like him. I mean they like him, but it always ends bad, and he's always mean and nasty to him. But in general, the guy's a likable guy. He has some status, no doubt about it. A little big, but that's just weight. Has nothing to do with likability. Attractiveness and whatnot can affect likability. But likability is people get passes. Even in the legislation gets changed because of someone that presents it that's likable. Judges, if you have a lawyer that's likable, you're more likely to get a reduced sentence or get off fucking scotch-free. You get your way a lot when you're likable. A guy like this, he's likable. He gets along with people. He's like a mediator. He looks at other people. He listens to other people. He makes time for the little people, and that's what people like. You see the difference between this guy and the Britter critter. They're both about the same amount of weight. That's sad for Britter, but what I'm saying is there's a huge, you just look at him and you look at the Britter critter girl, huge gap in likability. This is why this guy makes more money. And that's just the benefits he's reaping from the likability. Look at this broad right here. There is nothing likable about her. You can tell. Sometimes, don't judge a book by a cover, but this is the exception right here. There's nothing good about her except her hair's done exceptionally well. And that's expected because her mother owns a hair studio and she pretty much leeches off of her and works for her and gets clients because of her and thinks she's an actual hairdresser. But if she went to any other studio, they'd fucking fire her in a heartbeat because she can't get along with other people. And no one likes her, not even her kids, not even her own mother. Her kids hate her. They hate her guts. And she's just mean and nasty, and she knows it. She's aware of it. She can't even get any friends. Her two friends are freaking gay. Two homosexual friends. She can't find any female friends because she thinks she's better than everyone else. But she just can't get along with people. And people say, "Oh, that's fine. I don't care to be liked by anyone else, and I'll do what I want. I don't care what other people think." But this is the reason she's so miserable, and it's a perfect example of someone that fits the profile, that exhibits the self-fulfilling prophecy. She's all miserable and this and that, and criticizes everyone, is very critical. And she complains that her life is miserable and shit, yet she continues to do the same things that make her feel that way. And it's pretty sad. There's nothing likable about her. And she has multiple baby dads. And it's just far too late. This person has no hope. This is what I'm saying. This is a severe case of extreme dislikability. This is dislikability full throttle. Dislikability on steroids. Okay? And it shows. And there's people just like her. You know? You could tell. Look at her face. Look at her friends. Well, I guess she has one female friend. I think that's a dude too. But the point I'm making is it shows in her physical. It shows physiologically the strain in her face. And look, she doesn't have any teeth. You know what I mean? And it goes hand in hand. Her physical characteristics match her inner turmoil, her inner unlikability. So, no friends, just male friends, critical and judgmental on everyone, yet is the worst, is the last person to judge. No one likes her. She pretends she likes people. She's nice. She's not nice to anyone. She's not genuine. And when she's nice to people, it's just pretend. It's fake. Like, even around her friends, she's one of them. Like, hey, look at me. Like, oh, and just goes along with it and just pretends to be nice. But underneath, you can tell she's building a ball of resentment. And she wears it on her sleeve. People know this. Or this is why people walk on eggshells around her and get bad vibes around her, and it shows with her. It doesn't manifest materialistically, socially, health-wise. Her children hate her. It's a very bad case right here. Say a prayer, please. So, when it comes down to it, be likable. Be exceptionally likable. Because there's a lot of benefit to it. And we all could probably be more likable. And let's not confuse likability with popularity/status. Likability is a different type of animal. An animal that will get you on a higher plane of existence, of better living, with less tension. It's good for your health. And you might not like people, you might not want to be social, but it'll do better things for you economically as well. So it's been proven scientifically. It's good for your fucking brain. It's good for your physiology. It's good for your serotonin, your dopamine. If you can genuinely, sincerely be likable to other people, to care about other people, to give them the time of day, to have that empathetic mirror. So the question remains, is your likability tied to status and popularity? Because if it is, it's tied wrong, in my opinion. Because most people misinterpret what it means to be liked. They think it's about status, and they're content with that. Their status equals contentment. Status is synonymous with contentment, and it's the interpretation people take on it. And it affects their identity, because they base their identity, they base their self-image on what other people think. And and it affects them, and they can never get enough, and they can never be whole. That's what a reflected appraisal means. People get a huge high, a huge rush, not even based off of their status and their popularity, just by in everyday life, someone agreeing with you. Like, they're agreeing with your opinion. Like, when I make a video, someone agrees with my video. It's like, oh yeah, I feel good. Like I'm validated. And that's the problem when you do that when it's not in moderation. It's good to get some feedback, to have some correct, realistic feedback, just to gauge yourself, but to entirely tie it to what other people think, it's not a good thing. The social awards are great, and people that have likability, they soar. Look at the guy from American Idol, the big fat dude, Ruben, when I first started. This overweight dude soared to the top because he was likable. He showed humility. You can tell he gave a fuck about you. He didn't just give a fuck about status and popularity. So that's the thing. People get so obsessed about it, about getting popular, that they forget that that's not how you get popular, for the most part. So I gotta get going. Gotta put the screw back in my head with my screwdriver. Till next time.